Well, hello there, parapeeps, and welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels. Let's Talk Paranormal Live. I am your host, Sean Donnelly.
I'm your co-host, Marianne Donnelly.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody has a great day today. Yeah, we got started a little bit late. A couple minutes.
Yes, you forgot to push the bumper button.
Yeah, I forgot to hit the button.
It's all good.
Sorry about that. Well, as we're getting started, we got some people here in chat. Hey, let us know where you are from and what you're doing this weekend. Are you having fun? Hopefully you can hear us. This is back a little far, but we should be okay.
We're good. Lori said we were good.
Lori said we were good?
Well, she
all right,
said that
we were
the
good.
audio was good.
So for some reason, I don't have enough monitors. I don't know why.
Let's not even go there because he's got plenty.
I could really use one more.
Every time he gets another one, he's like, I could use one more.
Right,
I could use
it's a little
one
warm
more.
in here. Scoot over just a hair. I'm not opening the window yet. No. Oh. Okay, so if you are joining us for the topic, if you've never been to our show before, I'm going to put a link down in the description when we're done, and I'll link you right to the topic so you don't... Did you just kick the camera?
I did that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, everybody.
So you can skip right to the topic. Normally we start off the show with a little bit of house cleaning, let you know what's going on, what's coming, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then eventually we get to our story of the day.
That's right. Would you like to thank our show sponsors, which we forgot to do last week?
Absolutely. So our show supporters are AJK Services, BU Unique, Deb Schoen, Happy Trails Hiking, who by the way is in the chat, Kay Johnson, Lori Bryant, who also is in the chat, Mark Hole Agency, and Nancy Reed, the Lady Vamp.
All right. We want to thank you very much. How can they make the list?
You can make the list by becoming a $5 a month or more Patreon supporter.
That's right. That's how you do it. And you also, on the end of our videos, we put a little thank you there as well.
That's right.
Which I'm going to talk about Patreon here in a little bit, because we've had some issues this week, and our Patreon supporters are awesome, because I don't care about the issues anymore.
Oh.
I love doing these topics, and I'm tired of worrying about the coding and being demonetized, and I don't care. So
okay.
I'll talk about that here in a little
All right then.
All right, so I'm showing 8 viewers in the house. Today's topic is going to be what happened to the original, is it casket or coffin?
Well, technically it should be casket.
Okay, what happened to the original casket of JFK, because he wasn't buried in it. Okay, we're going to talk about that. That's our topic.
Yes.
And like I said, down below we'll have a link to that once we get going.
And remember, coffins, for those people who don't know, are the hex ones, where the head and the feet are at smaller angles than the shoulders. And of course, casket is more squared off.
That's like that affect. Which one's a casket, which one's a coffin. Oh, we got a super chat. Are you going to do that like Cassandra? Please don't.
Yeah, there's no way. I'm going to leave that right to her, but thank you so much, Pusha.
Appreciate that very much.
Yes, and cute little emoji there blowing us kisses, too. All right, so let's get rolling, shall we? Or do you want to do a roll call? Let's
do a roll call.
Let's run through a roll call. Right. So we have Art Morbid, Happy Trails Hiking, Lori Bryant, Pusha Studios, Queen Helen Casey, and I guess that other people have stopped talking because they're not in the list anymore.
All right, if we didn't say your name, please say hello.
Yeah, say hello back to us. And we will certainly say hi to you as well. All right. So thank you, though, for coming and spending some time with us.
Yes. So at this point, I always say...
Brian's World and Mechanics says hi.
Well, hello. If we have 10 people in here, we'll get Boris up here, but I'm not seeing 10, so I guess we'll have to...
Boris can take a nap. Let Boris have a nap.
Boris will have a nap. That's okay. We'll try again next week.
All right. What else you got?
All right. So this past week, got some exciting news thanks to Pusha.
Yes.
And everybody who's in here in the chat has pushed us over. I mean, it's not just one person, but
yes,
Pusha helped us get us over the
Get
hump
those
last
last
night.
couple of
We hit 3K.
viewers. That's right.
That's been the hardest grind from 2K to 3K.
It has. You were going strong there for a while, and then it just
Well,
kind
we've
of like...
had some things in life, some little road
Yes,
bumps up and
we
down
did.
too.
We
We
did.
get momentum going, and then we'd have to back away and that kind of thing. But we hit it.
We did.
Time to retire. We're done, folks.
No.
Thanks. No, just kidding.
There are people that do that kind of stuff, so don't go like messing around.
No. We have a lot more. So I posted a video this morning. This is kind of why we're a little bit late, because I didn't do my homework last night for today, because I worked on a thank you video last night and I posted it out there and people were signing it. I called it our thank you card, and people were signing it, and it's awesome to get all those comments. So it's
Okay.
out there. We'll go through it later, and you can help me answer the comments and stuff. Okay? Yeah. All right. So last week we covered Arlington National Cemetery.
That's right.
Yes?
Yes, we did.
And we also had a video about the Kennedy brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the things that I'm going through here, if you want to drop the link to our newsletter, which I think most people in here are on our newsletter, but if you are not, all the links that we're going to be talking about will come out late Sunday night or early Monday morning. Not quite sure when yet. However, if you're on the newsletter, make sure you add panicdvideos@gmail.com in your contacts so it doesn't go to
Spam?
spam or production or promotion folder or something like that. So you actually get the newsletter, because all these links and all the stuff to our blog and research and all that's all in the newsletter. So okay. Coming up next week, we're going to be covering, you want to say?
Eisenhower.
Yeah, the Eisenhower, what's it called?
National
Homestead?
Historic Place. It was a homestead, but it's the
It's
Eisenhower
the Eisenhower
Farm.
farm in Gettysburg. It's actually the only home that the Eisenhowers owned.
Yeah, it's interesting how many of the presidents, like, they actually only ever owned one home.
Yeah.
And it was like when they were becoming or just became president, which is interesting.
Yeah. I guess I could cover that so I can see chat. Like I could see chat anyways. I don't know. But we will have a Boris video next week, because there are some paranormal claims.
So
there
you'll
at
have to
the
wake
homestead.
Boris up for that, huh?
Have to wake his skeleton, skinny, scrawny butt up to get to
Okay.
work.
All right.
All right. Next item on the agenda, you have a piece for the museum, right?
Yes, it's
Formerly known as Marianne's eBay update.
right. And he's gave it a real name, right?
Yes. Yes.
Our Haunted Travels Collection Museum.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this week I can't see where I'm actually putting it now that you
Okay.
did that.
I'll
So
move this over.
yeah,
There you go.
I got to make sure that you can actually see it. So we have. There we are. A postcard from Arlington at JFK's gravesite back in the day when it was first there with the white picket fence around it.
Before it was renovated.
Yes. So,
We had a picture in our video, but it wasn't that picture.
no, it was not this picture, but it is a nice, memorable time for that, because they don't have the white picket fence anymore.
And did you pick that up on...
Of course, I picked that
eBay?
up on eBay.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
All right, what we got going on in chat?
Matt wants to know skinny what?
Skinny butt.
Skinny butt. Okay. Yeah. Queen Helen Casey says, "Don't wake Boris up. Let Boris nap." Happy Trail said that they loved your thank you card. Pusha is giving us all kinds of congratulations and saying how well deserved your 3,000 is. And that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It was a long time coming. And don't know why it was so hard, but
It's okay.
we'll see what the next... see how hard the next 1,000 is.
All right.
If I don't go over the edge or something. No, I'm kidding. All right, so interesting news. We have a couple of them. We have two of them, actually. You want to talk about that one first?
Sure. Why not?
I think I have the links.
Oh. Am I supposed to be putting?
No,
in
just
for
talking.
it? Oh,
No,
okay.
you know,
Okay.
just tell 'em about it.
So I'm gonna guess ATJH Travels would have been really following this
they
particular story. They're not here talking. They might
Okay,
be
they
here
might catch the
visiting.
replay.
But right over Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this week, there was supposed to be 2 satellites that were going to crash into each other and leave the debris falling down over Pittsburgh and out to outer space, hitting some of the other satellites.
Yeah, that would have been kind of ugly.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been that great. But good news, they missed each other by, what was it, like 30 some feet or something
Yeah.
like that.
It did not happen.
It did not happen. They were a little concerned about it because, you know, they were going to be between 36 and 110 or something like that feet apart. And they had an extension that was out on it. Extension arm that came out 15 further feet than the main body, and they were like, which direction will that be headed in, and will they collide? But yeah, Lori says missed it by that much, and that's pretty much what happened. So luckily they did not smash into each other and cause any damage to other satellites or to Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been
The
ugly.
good news is both of them were decommissioned. They weren't functioning.
Yeah,
I
but
think
if they would have smashed each other and started taking out other satellites,
that would have
would've
been problematic.
That
Yeah.
would have been ugly.
Yeah.
All right, so the next item, we have 2 interesting news updates because I found one, and then your dad told you about the satellite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, well, we got to put that in there too. There's a link to it where you guys could read more about that. But the one that I found was that there was a shop owner who actually caught on camera potential paranormal activity. I'm not going to play the video, but because you could get the links and watch it. But as you could see there, that crate, basically in the video, she's walking over to stock some items, and that crate just mysteriously moves and she falls.
Okay.
So potential poltergeist activity.
All right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That's not very fun.
Yeah. All right. So Robin Pauley is in the house and says, have you guys ever heard of Yankee Lake area where Native American people killed pioneers and that is in a graveyard?
Yankee Lake, Ohio?
Because if so, we've been there.
Absolutely. Not too far from here. If you mean Yankee Lake, Ohio. Absolutely.
And Lori, I think, seems to think that maybe a mouse moved the box, but she'll have to wait and see the
Yeah,
video.
you have to wait and check out that video and see what you think.
Yeah.
All right, so forensic news.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
you going to handle that one?
Sure, why not?
All right, go ahead.
So I'm sure everybody remembers Mount Vesuvius is one of our volcanoes that has erupted. And right there around Pompeii and all that. And they actually figured out just recently that in fact the brain tissue of the individuals who were in the little town near Pompeii that was a little bit closer, it was called something like that. You can read about it and find the correct pronunciation of that. But that little town,
whatever.
yeah, Herculum, whatever. The brain tissue of all of the people turned to glass. It was heated so quickly, so fast, that it melted off the flesh, but it turned the brain tissue, which was, of course, in the skull capsule, to glass. Kind of like lightning hitting the beaches, right? Turning sand into glass. That high temperature, same concept. Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah. Lori says, well, she put the name in. She put the name, but she didn't put the, like, how do you pronounce it?
Pronunciation.
That would be more helpful, Lori. But yeah, absolutely. So Teresa Gregory says, that's crazy. Happy Trails Hiking says, whoa. Lori says, wow. So it is interesting. Definitely.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the history snippet
Ooh.
And this relates to our videos from last week. I have an article about Juan
Romero.
And I don't have the picture on here, but here's the article. It's going to be in the newsletter. If you've seen some of the pictures of RFK when he was in the kitchen, there was a busboy that was kneeling with him. Okay, that's Juan Romero. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the story. He was 17 years old. Well, actually a couple years before that, Robert Kennedy was at the Ambassador Hotel before, and Juan brought his luggage to his room and shook his hand, and he was impressed with him. So when he came back for that convention, to speak at the convention, the night he was tragically taken from us, Juan made a point to shake his hand before he went up and speak, and then when he was done, he tried to get to the kitchen to shake his hand again. Okay, and it just so happens that's when the shots were fired, and he stayed with him until the ambulance came and took him away, and things like that. So it was, I think it was 40 some years later. It was on RFK's 85th birthday. Juan finally got up the courage to go to Arlington National Cemetery and pay his respects. And that's what the article is about. It's a very heart-moving, interesting article about his visit to pay his respects. So
awesome.
That's in there too. Why don't you go ahead and drop that link again for people to sign up for the newsletter?
Okay.
Well, I talk about the social media tip of the week.
Well, right before you do that,
Okay.
I have an update from both Lori Bryant and Happy Trails Hiking on the pronunciation.
Well, that's good. We need that.
That's right.
Herculaneum.
Herculaneum. Herculaneum.
All right.
And Happy Trails Hiking said something about there's a town in Missouri that was named that as well.
Okay.
All right, now you can do
social
media tip of the
tip
day.
of the week.
Or week.
All right. So this one's going to be by me, actually, because I ran into this past week with some people.
All right.
So here's my suggestion. Number one, know the links to your social media. Okay? Know them. Like, know the link to your YouTube channel, or know the link to... Yeah, Marianne doesn't know them either. But, know them in case somebody asks for them. What's the link to your channel? Or know a way to get them and do that. Number one. Then number two, on all your social media, especially YouTube, Twitter, whatever, make sure those links work. I met a lot of new people this past week, and there were issues. So that's my tip. Just to check them, make sure you know them.
All right.
Because you're losing out. You're losing out on followers and subscribers and so on and so forth.
Okay.
I've checked ours a couple of times where I've screwed something up, and it was like months later. Like, dope.
Yeah, I don't go to any of them, so I don't know.
We will have a travel tip in the newsletter. Don't have it yet, but it's coming. Right, Kay?
That's right. She's out traveling right now on her way home.
She's out and about.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pusha Studio says, yes, 100%. There are so many people with broken links.
Yeah, test them out. Websites are shut down. Things change. Just every once in a while, check them out.
Yes.
I was speaking with somebody on Twitter who said, check out my channel. And I'm like, okay. I went to their Twitter thing. There's no link. They had a link to a website. I clicked on it. The website was down. I go back to them. I said, what's the link to your channel? Don't hear back from them. Then they say, hey, check out my channel. And I'm like, what's the link to your channel? And I'm like, then I tried to search, and I couldn't find it. And I went the extra mile because it was a paranormal channel to do it. But you got like seconds.
Right.
Or they're gone. So, anyways, just a tip.
Absolutely.
This week we are shouting out, hey, if you're a parapeep and you're on the newsletter, and which is now the registered certified parapeeps, by the way, we shout out a channel each week. This week we are shouting out Pusha Studios.
All right.
So the link will be in the newsletter. Marion's dropping the link right now. They are in chat, and we'll also put them on our community tab. So each week we're going to do a different channel. And if you don't know Pusha, you really need to get to know them. It's a good thing to know Pusha.
That's right.
See, there's another tagline for you guys. It's a good thing to know Pusha.
Great people over there.
Absolutely.
Someday we're going to actually, like, meet.
Well, I told you we're one away.
I know.
Was that last night in their stream?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had lunch with Inspired John. Inspired John went up there and had lunch with them. So we're one away from Pusha.
That's
We
right.
just got to get closer.
And what's that thing called? It's what's the seven or 6
six
degrees of
away
Kevin
from-
Bacon or something,
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
So.
Pusha Studio says, tip of the day, no Pusha.
Yeah, there you go. Haunted Trucking, hello, how you doing?
And 89 Mattel.
That's right, it's been a while. This is our second live stream. Wow, what was it, like September? We couldn't go live from in here?
Maybe. It started acting peculiar in here,
Yeah,
and we had to
and then
start.
the
We started
cell
doing them
phone
in the living room, and
Yeah. So finally this stuff, I really didn't do anything. It
Yeah,
just
you
started
just-
working again.
yes, yeah. Lori says it's the degrees of separation.
That's it.
I always
6
can
degrees
count on Lori to
separation
help
of
me out
coming.
with my words because I suck at words.
Well, you're getting old, that's why. Old and forgetful.
And Pusha says it's the 6 degrees of YouTubers. All right. So again, hi to 89 Mattel as well. All right. So what you got?
I'm ready to start
You
our
ready
topic.
to start the topic? It's
am.
only 5:25.
We went through it quickly.
All right. We saved 5 whole minutes on this
Yeah, we
week.
got a couple of minutes before I get going on this. So,
All right. Lori says
Forget
you
that.
don't suck at words.
I can't believe this. I mean, we are not dropping a packet, and I should quit
Yeah,
saying
please
that.
stop. There is
But-
a little wooden table behind you here.
Yeah. So it got dark. It got real dark when I put that on.
When you put what on?
That.
Oh, that's because that's a dark thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So what do you guys got going on this weekend? I know Kay's out doing her hiking, and what else you guys got going on?
Well, 89 Mattel wants to know who's watching
Super
the Super Bowl.
Bowl. That's right. Super Bowl.
It
It's
won't be
tonight.
me.
No.
No, I'm not a sports
What
fan
are we doing
in general.
tonight? You asked me to do something tonight.
Yes. So I bought a one of those online cases. I bought a case for my students to
Oh,
do
that's
in their
right.
forensic
We're
science class.
reviewing a criminal
And so we're
case.
going to be playing it out tonight so I
It's
can see
a
how it
big
works.
night here at the Donnelly household.
Sean's super thrilled, but I like to make sure things, work out well, and I know how it's going to go, but how long it's going to take, that kind of stuff before I deal with the kids.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first one that I didn't create for them too. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Pusha says they have a surprise on Sunday night. They're working on it now.
Yeah, they kind of alluded to that last night too.
Happy Trails Hiking is live at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Well, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So Teresa Gregory says go Chiefs. So she's looking for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I heard today that somebody put down $1 million on the Chiefs.
Wow. Wow.
What I could do with $1 million
me too.
would not be to do that. There was somebody, I think you mentioned it to me, that they paid $6 million to do an ad
Yes.
for
Yes.
a veterinary hospital.
No, yeah. Okay, so what it was this veterinary hospital saved their pet. So they went and took out $6 million worth of ads during the Super Bowl to thank the hospital and promote the hospital and some sort of charity or something like that.
Yeah. They could have given all $6 million to that
Yeah,
hospital.
to the hospital.
Just saying.
But
yeah.
yeah.
Teresa Gregory says, not on a 50-50 chance. Nope. And Queen Helen Casey, pretty much the same thing. What? $1 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I forgot to do?
Nope.
I forgot to animate this. Oh well.
Oh, that's all right. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get started on this because I know there's obviously people in here that want to go watch the Super Bowl. So
Pusha says, I don't know why they pay so much for those ads. Top YouTubers get more views than a game tomorrow.
yeah.
True. All right.
All right. So I think this will work. Tonight's topic is what happened? Okay, so before we get into this,
You just get so excited and then
I know. Okay, so what I'm talking about, just so everyone knows. All right, so first of all, okay, I think everybody in here knows who JFK was. You know, we deal with high school kids, so I have to prerequisites before the presentation. Everyone knows who John F. Kennedy was. Yes? Anybody not know? Okay, if you don't know, let us know and we'll talk about JFK a little bit.
Yeah, he's pretty much well known throughout the world.
Kids don't know who he is.
But my kids, they kind of know that he was a president.
Kind of know he was a president. Whatever.
They didn't know RFK existed. They were a little shocked at, Martin Luther King. And I'm like, wait a minute, you get off of school for him.
That's why we get the day off?
Yeah, they're like, is that why we get off for that day? Yes, it is.
All right, so John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963, Dealey Plaza, Dallas. Okay, he was rushed to Parkland Hospital, and he later expired. So, what we're talking about in today's presentation is the original casket. Is that right? Or should be coffin. So the presentation's wrong, but the original
that's okay.
coffin.
Everybody says it.
Coffin casket, the original one that they called and asked for to have him transported back to Washington, D.C. Okay, what happened to it? He wasn't buried in it. That's
correct.
What tonight's topic is about.
All right.
Okay, you guys ready? You guys ready to get going? If you're ready, go ahead and say yes in chat and we'll get started.
And you need to make a time mark.
I need to make a time mark. We are 31:49. 31:49. Oh. Where did I put my pens? That'll get me close.
All right.
31:49.
Of course, now it's 32:05, but that's okay.
Ready. Here we go.
All right.
So basically we're going to talk about the casket, about the hearse, the pole that we took, which, by the way, again, wow. Why it wasn't used for the burial, what happened to it, some official government documents. Okay? If you guys are not on our newsletter, you're going to want to be, or at least get access to our thing, because you can get access to these official documents that I found, and I have them for you. And then the final resting spot of the casket.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Now again, see, I don't have them animated. Oh well. But everyone's probably seen these pictures that I'm showing on there. This is what they loaded on. It was a bronze casket. All right, so here's what happened. At 1 p.m., this is when they the doctors finally pronounced him expired.
Correct.
And a call was made to O'Neill's funeral home. Now, there's two separate things that I found in my research.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty close, but they're not the same. And you find this a lot in history. You have like some historians that believe this. You have some people that just find stuff and regurgitate it and don't check their resources. Then you do the research yourself using historical documents or letters or things like that, and you find out, oh no, it's not quite right. This is what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have that problem all the time with Charles Darwin in my class.
See, that's what we do, is we kind of take it and try to find the resources or check the sources or try to find what. Now, the story sounds good, but is it historically accurate? I don't know yet who actually made the call, okay? One said that Clint Hill from the Secret Service, that's the gentleman, if you saw the video of the Zapruder film, that climbed up on the back of the limousine.
The presidential car. Right,
Secret Service. The one said that he made the call to get the casket. Another one said that Earl Cabell called. Mayor Earl Cabell. Okay?
Mm-hmm. But somebody eventually made the call to O'Neill's funeral home.
Because they needed the casket to be delivered to Parkland. And O'Neill's staff, or O'Neill took the call, but his staff was at lunch. So there was a little bit of a delay.
Lunch, go see the president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the story about the mayor calling, okay, did a little digging, and I found another article that was an interview by a man who worked for the O'Neill funeral home that said it was the mayor who called, and they were best friends. And he called him and said, hey, they need a casket. Grab the best one that you have and get it over here.
Now, that makes sense to me. I mean, it's the president of the United States. You would want the best for the president, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. All right, we got some new people coming in.
Yes, Rachel Rawson has visited. It's nice to see Rachel. And Bottle Caps came in. So hi, Bottle
John's
Caps.
here too.
And then, yes, Inspired John has joined us. Nice to see Inspired John again. Got to talk to him last night a little bit too. Oh, and Inspired John sent $2.99 for Boris's 3K.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Boris.
Boris thanks you,
Boris
too.
loves it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Inspire John.
Holy cow. All right. So anyways, he sent over the most expensive floor model. Now, he sent a bill to the U.S. government for $3,900. This was back in 1963. I ran a little inflation calculator, and that equals to be $32,500 roughly for the coffin. Just for the coffin.
Yeah, that's a little bit much. I kind of know. I've had
pricey.
some recent,
Yeah, you've had some recent shopping.
I have.
It's a little pricey.
I have. That's a little pricey. Now, granted, it was the best that they had.
Yeah.
But wow, that is a lot. Lori says, "Don't spend that much on my casket, please." Yes, I think it's it was the president. We wanted the best, but that is still quite pricey. I can't believe that they had any that were that price to start with.
And he had it in the showroom.
Right.
So
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the hearse. Okay. Now, as you saw it, you probably saw in some of the historical photographs of the day, you saw a hearse that was there. Okay. That hearse actually belonged to O'Neill, the O'Neill funeral home. The ambulance service in that area around Parkland Hospital at the time was actually owned by O'Neill Funeral Home. He had a fleet of hearse ambulances. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So once he got the coffin loaded up, he drove it to Parkland himself.
Because remember, his staff was all at lunch.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. And it weighed 400 pounds, by the way. Okay. As he approached Parkland Hospital, he was stopped and pulled out of the hearse, and the Secret Service got in and drove it up the rest of the way to the hospital. Okay. Now that's kind of interesting because I saw in the other article that said that he was the one that helped prepare Kennedy to be transported. I don't think that's true. Okay.
Yeah. Would you like to explain why you don't think that that's true, or do you have that coming up? And I'm gonna toss your little presentation all around.
No, I'll explain it now.
Okay.
I don't think that's true because the way the body was prepared is they just wrapped it in sheets. They did put a plastic mattress down underneath of them, but they didn't wrap the body in plastic. A funeral director, knowing the condition of the body, would have wrapped the body in plastic or put it in a body bag. Right?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that.
They didn't. They put a plastic mattress underneath him and wrapped him in sheets. I don't think that was a funeral director that was doing that. And there's a point to that. I'm getting to it. Okay. All right. All right. So he later got a ride to Love Field and found the hearse that was sitting there running with the doors open because Secret Services drove there real quick. They got the hearse on the plane.
They got the hearse on the plane.
Not the hearse, the casket up on the plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Got everything settled. They did the swearing in of Johnson, and they're out of there. They're getting out of there. Okay. It just happened real quick. They even left the hearse running. Okay. Now, Sometime before 2000, it was offered to be sold. The minimum, what's that called? The minimum, you're not going to sell it unless you get the minimum. Come on, you're on eBay.
Oh,
you know
I
this.
know. Oh.
Anyways, $1 million, and it didn't happen. Somebody actually even offered $900,000 and some change for it, and they turned it down. It eventually sold in 2012 for $160,000. Reserve, that's the word.
Yes, that's the word. You're right. That is the
And
word.
that's just for the hearse.
Right. But can you imagine they turned down $900,000 and then eventually they had to sell it for just $160,000.
Right. So let me ask you guys here, and most of you probably took this poll, but did you know that the original casket was not what JFK was buried in? Yes or no? Yes, I know. I didn't know. Say no if you didn't know. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Oh, bottle
Hey, some
caps,
water.
bottle caps, bottle caps. No, no, no. But I do want to say hi to Frosty Dog, who has joined us again today. Nice to see you. And so far, most people didn't know that President Kennedy was not buried in his original casket. Nobody has said that was yes. So, kind of goes along with your poll.
Okay, so let's talk about the polls, which I'm loving these polls because we got a lot of response. Just on Twitter alone, I put this on there, we had 79 votes. 82.3% said no, they didn't know. Okay. On YouTube, we only had 12 votes, but our community tab's not as active as our Twitter account. 75% said no. So most people didn't realize that. Okay. That's one of the conspiracy theories that surrounds JFK's. What happened to the original casket? What did they put in it? Where did it go? Where did it disappear? His brain's not there. Where's all this
his
stuff
brain's
at?
missing too.
You know, the casket was one of the conspiracy things around there. All right. So why was it switched out? Here's why. So they originally thought that they were going to use it. Okay, and they thought they would have an open casket. However, after working on him for a little over 3 hours, once he got back to the White House, now he flew from Dallas to Andrews, I think it's Andrews Air Force Base, and then they transferred him to the funeral
casket.
home to work on him, and then took him to the White House. So it was like 3.5 hours from the time he landed in Washington until they made the decision that open casket's not going to happen. All right. While they were working on him, they found out that the it had to be switched out. The casket was just so destroyed from seepage and everything else.
Yeah, there's the
It was just not
handle
gonna
was an
work.
issue.
Yeah.
And then of course the blood.
Yes, it was. Inspired John. They actually worked on him and reconstructed him the best that they could, and that was an option because, and like we said in our videos, Jackie wanted to follow the funeral setup as much as possible as Abraham Lincoln, which was an open casket. Mm-hmm. So they tried. And here's another thing too. Until they made that decision, which was like way in the hours of the morning, Jackie never changed her clothes. She kept that pink outfit
That
on.
pink suit.
Once they made the decision, that's what it is. And that was the first time that Bobby actually saw him, when they were together in the White House to make that decision. So then she went upstairs to change her clothes, and the rest is pretty much history. So
Yeah,
they did swap
know.
out the coffin.
I personally can't see how, like John said, how they even thought it was an option. I mean, so much of that head
Yeah.
was destroyed. Like, they would even consider that an option. It is amazing. It
Well,
is
some
amazing.
of those guys are artists. If they could have pulled it off,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
be it. But no, they couldn't. It was too bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so where did the original casket go then? Well, first it was placed with the items for investigation, of course, and then it was moved to the National Archive. Now, the family was concerned about morbid curiosity seekers, such as...
Me? They knew about me?
Yeah. that would, hey, let's make a vacation to go see this coffin. All right. Now, O'Neill billed the federal government for his services, but actually what he wanted the coffin back. He was going to open up a museum in his funeral home. That's where you can go and see it.
So is that why he billed them so high? Maybe that they would say no and they would ship him back the coffin? The casket?
I don't know. Now, like I said, I have links to official documents that were released in the late 90s that came out about JFK, and part of it was talking about this particular coffin. I don't know, coffin or casket, whatever. Casket, okay. There's actually a phone conversation with Bobby Kennedy saying that the family wants it destroyed. There's the original bill from O'Neill and a map of where it ended up. So let's talk about the bill here, for example.
For a moment.
For a moment. This is kind of interesting. If you look at this bill, I hope you guys can see this. If not, Marianne, read that.
Okay.
This was the bill from O'Neill to the federal government. Oh, you got something?
I just wanted to, before I do that, they're like, they didn't try duct tape, hockey tape fixes everything, says Rachel. But then Lori said, I kind of think those things would be unreturnable. It's not like Walmart. Yeah. All right, so I'll go ahead and read that for you. Arrangement and supervision of details, embalming and care of body, shaving, dressing, and casketing body, services of funeral director and staff assistants at church and cemetery, use of necessary equipment, including solid mahogany casket as selected.
A vault. And a vault.
Yeah, and a Wilbert triune vault. But looking at that list,
he didn't do any of that except
really any of that.
Except the hearse
he
and
brought
the
casket.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't embalm the body there. He certainly didn't work at the church. He wasn't at the cemetery.
Right. So when he first submitted it to the federal government, they went, no. Number one, this is way too much. Number two, you didn't do all this stuff. And this is all in those documents that you can see. And then he said, okay, well, take $700 off of it. All right. And then this is one of the conversations that was going back and forth where he actually wanted the casket. And Bobby told him, hey, just pay it. You just pay this, and he goes away. And that's pretty much what happened. Okay. So, again, where did it go? What happened to it? Where are we at on time? Because we're almost done with the show.
5:47. 5:47.
15, 20 minutes.
So Lori says it's just a code. Put in 27 and it charges you for all that stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. They didn't even make any alteration to it at all.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have computers back then, so this was hand typed. So
that's true. That's true.
All right. So, anyways, on February 18th of 1966, the coffin was picked up from the National Archives by an Air Force truck and taken back to Andrews Air Force Base. That's where it originally was brought to Washington, D.C. They drilled 40 holes and filled it with 3 80-pound sandbags. And at 10 a.m., a C-130 took off, carrying the casket 100 miles east of Washington, D.C. They flew down 500 feet and they dropped it. So right now it is resting under 9,000 feet of water, about 100 feet off the coast of Washington, D.C. Or 100 miles off the coast of Washington, D.C. Which, that location there, from what I read, is also where they would dump like extra ammunition and stuff they had to get rid of. They would dump it there. And it's also really close where the ashes of John F. Kennedy Jr. were spread. Close to that area too. So that is what happened to the original coffin. Bet you guys didn't know that one.
You know, I actually remember like years ago hearing about the drilling of the holes in the casket.
No, you didn't.
I do remember
you
it now. Like, I forgot about it, but I remember it now when you said that. I remember somewhere seeing that they drilled holes in it.
Well, that's why. Why did they drill holes? So it would sink.
So it would sink. Yeah.
That's right.
Interesting. Lori says ammo and casket dump.
That's right. That's where it's at. It's at the bottom of the ocean. So one of the places where, they debated, besides Arlington National Cemetery and the family plot, was a burial at sea for JFK, which would probably have been close to this location. But that didn't happen. If you watched our videos, you know how that happened, why he's buried at Arlington National Cemetery.
All right. So Rachel Rosen says this Kennedy thing was way bigger than I knew.
Oh, it was huge.
Absolutely.
Was huge. It shocked the entire nation. Mm-hmm. It shocked. It was a turning point where. It was a turning point. If you think about like between the 50s and the 60s, like where everyone in the 50s were, and Inspired John could chime in on this too because he understands this, but everyone kind of followed the, straight-laced, girls wore dresses to school and all that other stuff to, the end of innocence. And now people began to question the government and question end of the age of innocence. That's
literally
right.
what Inspired John
This is
wrote.
when people began to question their government and question why things were happening and question whatever. And that all started with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. It's a very crucial turning point in American history. Yeah.
Frosty Dog says there is still so much shrouded in mystery. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's still conspiracy theorists who,
this
follow
about that. This about the casket.
That.
What happened to it and all that other stuff, and the whole story of it didn't come out until 1990 with the release of some of those Kennedy papers.
Yeah.
Nobody. It was the military knew where it was, but the public didn't.
Yeah, and after a couple generations of workers, they probably didn't know about it either.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So.
Actually, we got. Well, according to this, we got about 8-10 more minutes.
That's right.
So that's all right. I'm going to talk about our Patreon.
Oh. Okay.
Did you drop the link to our Patreon?
At some point early on, I did.
All right. So, we push our Patreon, and I'll tell you why. This particular, I don't know if you guys got ads, but this particular live stream, because I used the word casket or had the picture of the coffin, I didn't show you guys anything gruesome or anything like that. We're talking about history, but it's limited advertisement. Our Arlington National Cemetery videos, even the one where we were kind of goofy and told you our experiences, limited. Okay? I really don't care about the money, but I want to keep doing these topics. So that's why we do the Patreon. $1 a month, you can get access to some behind-the-scenes stuff. Now, we're started doing behind-the-scenes videos. This Sunday, our Patreons are going to get behind-the-scenes of Arlington National Cemetery, some of the dirt that we dug up. Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Get to see that video, but we're going to start doing some really behind-the-scenes that we don't really want to put out to the public because, we probably shouldn't. But we'll put out to our Patreon followers. So, consider it. Entry level is $1 a month, $12 a year. $5 level, we thank you on the show and on each video, and then $13 you get access to YT promo and things like that. And if you're a patron, even at the $1 a month when we travel, we send you a postcard.
That's right.
We did that when we were in Chicago. So
right.
Think about it.
Yeah.
It helps support because like some of these videos, I think this one, 3 of these videos this past week, we probably won't get ad money on. I sent in a review. We'll see what happens. They're kind of slow, but...
All right, so
there's my rant.
Lori says that Yankee says he's watching, so hello to Yankee
Hello,
out there.
Yankee.
And Rachel says our sensitive YouTubers.
Yeah, I need to bring up a special chat just for Yankee somehow.
Yeah.
See, I need another monitor.
Oh, see, here he goes again. Bottle Caps wants to know where the chocolate chip cookies are. They are not 9,000 feet below water.
That's where they're not.
That's right. He was making a bunch of jokes in the chat. I'm making jokes back.
Okay.
Mine are just not as funny.
Not really.
But, yeah. All right. What else?
You know, we had the set all decorated for Christmas, and I don't even think we recorded one video with it.
No, we didn't. I took his little
Santa
outfit
Boris.
back. I took Santa Boris's outfit off.
Christmas
and
tree and all that.
took the
stuff.
tree down.
Yeah.
Yep. I put it up and we
Have to
didn't
try again
make it.
next year. Oh,
Yeah.
what's it asking me to sign it? No, we don't
Yeah.
need that.
So, all right.
I think that's going to wrap it up. Did I go over everything for this week? Next week we are covering Eisenhower Estate in Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get some of them Gettysburg ones knocked out.
Started out. Yep.
The week after, can I tell them what we're doing the week after?
I don't really care.
We're doing some Al Capone stuff the week after, for the whole St. Valentine's Day stuff there in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And week after that, we may do take a break from locations because I got a bunch of videos that I need to get caught up on that relate to locations we already did. Like I never did. Well, Boris never did a video for that last museum we were at, and I have some EVP videos I got to do, and that might get us ahead again for locations.
Okay.
So we might do that.
But we're not going away. You're going to have videos for them, right?
I'll have videos, just not a location. Take a break from the locations,
Okay.
so that I could do a little backpedaling to get caught up.
On some of the
And at some point,
extras.
I wanted to talk about the museum that we have out there now, with the locations in our blog post and our blog site, which is starting to take off like crazy. If you haven't seen our blog site, it's on ourhauntedtravels.com. I put a little bit more information than what we cover in the videos on there, and some of the links to our research too. So if you're really want to find out a little bit more about a location, you can check it out on our blog.
All right.
Anything else? You got a recipe video coming up?
I do have a video coming up.
Not chocolate chip
it
cookies.
is not
Sorry,
the one.
Bottle Cap.
It's not the one Bottle Caps is asking for, but we did make the chocolate chip cookie stuff before, so Bottle Caps can go back and look at that.
You're gonna
one
have to get
whenever
that
he
link
wants.
and just keep sending it to
I
him
know. I
every
should.
time.
Yeah. I told him it's on the Hershey videos. He said he already watched that one. He wants a fresh one. Well, we're gonna have one coming up. Haven't had one in a while. We're gonna have one
8
coming
months since you did a recipe video.
Wow, crazy. But it will not be chocolate chip cookies.
You gonna tell them what it's gonna be?
No.
Ooh, we're gonna keep it a surprise.
Yeah.
It is related to Al Capone and Bugsy Malone.
Mm-hmm.
It's related.
Okay.
Let's see if they could guess what it is.
I don't think they will.
Nope, not a clue.
Lori says
It's a stretch.
mysterious.
It's a stretch to make it related, but
But it's possible.
it's related.
All right. And Pusha says, can't wait for that one.
Anybody have any questions? I forgot that last week. Any questions about this
Topic for today.
topic?
And
Did you like this topic? This was more of a history topic than a paranormal.
right.
We kind of switch off if you guys haven't noticed. Sometimes we do paranormal, sometimes we do history, sometimes we do forensic. And you're going to have one coming up here at some point. We're going to cover your, we never did it. We've always talked about it, but we never did anything covering your dig.
Okay.
Showing pictures of
Yep.
your archaeological dig, moving the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do that. And
Yes. And now that we've hit 3,000 mark, you said we would make my life cast.
yeah, we're going to do that outside
I thought we could do it in my classroom.
or in your classroom. Yeah.
It's
I don't know if we're
lot
going
more
to do that
cleanable.
live, though.
No, you can't do
Make it a
that
video.
live. We'll make a video and we can play part of it live if you want, because it's actually a couple-step process and it takes a while, you know.
Yeah.
Once you make the mold, then you have to cast it and that has to dry.
So you trust me enough to do a life mask?
We're going to do it at the school where there will be other people around.
So there will be witnesses. I get you. We're going to do a life mask where there are witnesses.
Frosty Dog says the ultimate question, who do you think did it?
Did what?
That would be Kennedy's assassination, I believe.
Me personally, I think it was a combination of the CIA and the mafia.
I think Johnson had something to do with it.
Oh, absolutely. He was behind it.
And I'm sure that Lee Harvey Oswald
We were
was
in Dealey Plaza.
involved.
We went to the 6-story book depository. We've been there. We looked out that window. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't think we ever did the video on that. But the shot, supposedly, the 3 shots that Oswald took at an angle down there, he could have took them shooting up Main Street and had a better shot. And they would have been stuck. Like, they wouldn't have been able to speed away afterwards. I think the JFK movie, there was some accuracy to that. He was caught in a crossfire. And it was members of the CIA and the Mafia.
Yeah, I think Oswald was part of
He
it.
was part of it, but I don't think he did it.
do. Yeah. Let's see here. Inspired John said Trump did it. Lori says, don't forget the straws in her nose so she can breathe. Thank you, Lori. Rachel Rosen says, please come to the UK. I have lots of ghostly history to show you, like where the plague broke out and all sorts of stuff. And Lori says, next year, YouTube meetup in Sheffield. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see.
You never know. Anything can happen.
That's right. Never know.
Wow, we got a drop there. Went, broop.
Well, we did. All right. Well, Dezombified, thank you for coming tonight. And said the pizza man's coming. It's got to run.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up.
Let's put our dinner in.
Oh, we got to go get dinner in.
I forgot I was going to put it in before we started, so it would be ready. Oops.
Well, let's wrap this up so we can go ahead and dinner.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming and playing with us. Thank you for the 3K. Love you guys very much.
Yes.
We really do appreciate it. Until next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting.